Hello, good morning. Today I'm going to present about understanding Spring Boot frameworks. So, the content of this presentation is the Spring Boot layered architecture, Spring Boot application flow architecture, and basic annotation to start a Spring Boot application. So, what is Spring Boot? Spring Boot is a framework built on top of Spring or the core Spring. It is for build web service and web application. And how Spring Boot application work internally. So the Spring Boot application starts using a main method like any other Java program, and the main method is called run method. For example, for this framework, we use Spring Boot application.run. From this run method, the application context of IOC or inversion of control searches for the class annotated with @configuration annotation, which call all the beans in the class path and initialize those classes. So the beans are stored inside particular space in JVM, or the particular space is known as the IOC container. So the next is Spring Boot layered architecture. There are 4 layers in the Spring Boot framework. To follow layered architecture in which each layer communicates with the other layer directly in the hierarchical structure. So the first one is presentation, second is business, third is persistent, and the last one is database. So the presentation layer, this layer handles all the HTTP requests made by the clients. Then it translates the JSON parameter to the object and also authenticate the request and transfer it to the business layer. And next, we can also know it as the controller. So next is the business layer. This is also known as the service layer, which handles all the business or logic of an application. It consists of the service classes and user service provided by the data as a layer. It performs an authorization and validation also, or this also known as the service package in the directory. So the next layer is persistence layer. It contains all the storage logic which are required and translate the business object to database load, or we also know it as the entity in the package. So the next one is database layer. In this layer, all the CRUD, get, read, update, and delete operation is performed in the background. So next is Spring Boot application flow architecture. In this example, I will lay some example of the flow of this application architecture. So the first one, client make an HTTP request, which might be get, port, put, and delete to the browser. So then in the request, we'll go to the controller where all the requests will be mapped and handled. After mapping done, in service layer, all the business logic will be performed. It performs the logic on the data that is mapped to the JPA or the entity. Next, in the repository layer, all the CRUD operation is done for the REST APIs. And the last thing is a JSP page is returned to the user if no error are there. Next is basic annotations to start a Spring Boot application. So the entry point of the Spring Boot application is the class which contains @Spring Boot application annotation along with the main method. The main method should contain Spring Boot application.run method. So the implementation here we have used the @Spring Boot application annotation along with the class GFG and a main method just like other Java program with Spring Boot, no, solely Spring application dot run method to bootstrap the application. So how a Spring Boot application works? So this annotation is a combination of another three methods, which are configuration, enable auto configuration, and component scans. So the configuration annotation. This annotation configures the application context such as transaction, resource handler, view resolver, and security, etc. It is used in class level and it specifically indicates that a class declares one or more than one beans method. So here we see the implementation. The app configuration is on the above class GFG, and there are a bean in the class also as a method. So next annotation is the enable auto configuration. This annotation will automatically configure our application. We don't need to configure manually, and it enables the auto configuration feature of the Spring Boot. So we have used enable auto configuration annotation along with the class name to perform the automatic configuration over an application. So next is the add component scan annotation. So this will automatically scan all the beans and the package declaration when the application initializes inside the class path. It will automatically scan all the components added to our project. Here we have used add component scan annotation along with the Spring Boot application annotation which will scan the package which is passed inside the parameter. We can also use this annotation with our argument where Spring is responsible for scan the current package and its sub-packages. We can use these annotations separately as per our needs because Spring Boot supports loosely coupled feature. The conclusion, Spring Boot is an open source framework of Java built on top of the core Spring framework. Here we learn about different layers of Spring Boot architecture. We also learned about project flow of Spring Boot application with basic annotations. Thank you for watching and listening.